catch up to me so I can watch it and see if we have sound. And here comes the thing. Have to unmute. And we have sound. Excellent. All right. Streaming on Dementia Radio now and recording in 3, 2, 1.
Are we supposed to hear stuff?
You're not hearing it?
No, we are not hearing it.
Nope.
God damn it. Why are you not hearing it? Fine. Let's turn that off and turn that back on. All right. Let me know if this works. Is that working?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, got it.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org. It's the Funny Music Podcast. Brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
Hey, Devo Spice!
Hey, Luke Ski!
We have insane kids!
Yes, I'm here. I do the things.
And we have Phil Johnson. Welcome back, Phil.
Evening, gentlemen. Nice to see you all.
And we will have a pre-recorded interview with Steve Goodie coming up later in the show because it's Thursday. And welcome to episode 594 of the Funny Music Podcast for November 4th, 2021. Warning, lung suffering. Title of this week's episode. Your job is to try to work that into our conversation. I'm putting it in the chat so you can refer to it later. But Luke can't put it in the chat.
That's a very pertinent episode title for COVID times. Thanks.
Yeah. Random word generator. It's what came up. Sorry.
All right.
I assure you, randomwordgenerator.com. So, Luke, what have you been up to?
You're not going to play the jingle?
Oh, I forgot the jingle. Sorry, jingle.
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke failed and didn't show up.
Hey, what?
Oh, he's right.
All right. Now what have you been up to?
Well, as if you've been following along on my social media, the costume I ordered of the character Barley from Pixar's Onward, I ordered back on October 7th. It did not show up until November 1st at about 10 a.m. So, boo.
They only missed Halloween by 10 hours. Come on, it was close.
Yeah. I did get the costume out to take a look at it and, make sure that it fit and that, it was, despite the delivery, worth the money I spent for it, and it's pretty cool. The only thing that was kind of surprising was, I thought that the patches on the denim jacket part were going to be like actual patches, and it turns out that they basically just did these high quality, kind of prints of what the patches look like, and we're able to put them directly on the fabric and stuff. So, but it did come up. They did basically, instead of recreating all the buttons on his jacket, they made a bunch of physical actual buttons and packed them separately so that you could attach them to the thing yourself. So, but yeah, it's basically everything you need for the costume except for face paint and for the boots or shoes or whatever you'd want to wear for it. They even included elf ears that you could put on, which I didn't even expect. They're flesh tone colored. So it's okay, cool. Well, I'll have to, whenever I decide, I'm probably going to end up, you're technically not allowed to go to, at least as an adult, you're not allowed to go to Disney parks. Yeah, you're not allowed to go to Disney parks in costume because they don't want to confuse any little kids that anyone who's just randomly there dressed up as whatever character is meant to be one of the characters you meet and greet with, So that's why the whole kind of Disney founding thing, started with a lot of people. But I figure, not doing any face makeup, and just wearing the rest of that costume, I kind of feel like I could probably get away with it if I felt like it. So,
does it come with a wig or does it just assume you have blue hair?
No, it didn't come with a wig. So yeah, they pretty much assume you have blue hair.
Okay.
So
There's
Anyway,
a little fine print label on it that says "Costume assumes you have blue hair."
and then another label that says "Warning: Lung Suffering."
Whee! Pee-wee things. All right, yay.
So what I did instead was I ordered a bunch of things to craft together to make googly eyes on a thing to put on top of my head, and then just got a blue shirt, and and went to the store and got a bunch of cookies, and I was Cookie Monster for making all my deliveries. I even went so far as to make the eyes googly, so that if I shook my head back and forth, the eyes would move around the way that Cookie Monster's eyes move around. So that was fun. Also, I discovered that these cookies that I bought, at the store as a prop, which were, from the bakery department and came in like a big thing of 10 of them, were actually really, really good. So it's like,
dude, those supermarket bakeries are not to be trifled with. Our ShopRite bakery is amazing.
We have a Mariano's right across the street, and they have bakery fresh donuts there every day.
Yeah.
And it's a struggle to not be fatty fat Fatterson.
Yeah, our ShopRite makes
every day.
amazing donuts. Just astounding. And especially since they're right next to a Dunkin' Donuts that has, day-old stale donuts when they have donuts in stock. It's like why would I ever go to Dunkin' Donuts and I have ShopRite fresh donuts? I just yeah.
they waited until I left to build that Mariano's. You know that, right?
Yes. I know that because they built it while I was here.
They're like, Luke doesn't need any more donuts. We'll just wait. And yeah. Anyway, basically, also I'm getting some more dental stuff done this week. So because of that, I am very much not doing the whole Cookie Monster nom 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 thing because I don't want to fuck anything up accidentally for the sake of a wacky gag. So, but yeah, I think that's about all. And for those of you who are watching on the video and can see me, I am currently heading to the AMC 30 Orange, about an hour and a half away with traffic, to meet up with Tony Goldmark and friends to go see Eternals. And I decided I would just do the FuMPCast while driving because the map shows it as like this solid red line for most of the way there. So I might as well talk to you guys while I'm driving. So yeah, what have you been up to, Devo Spice?
Well, we did the Halloween thing, and my kids, being teenagers, didn't know whether they were going to go trick-or-treating until the very last minute, which means they threw together a half-assed teenager costume. They put on a leather jacket and sunglasses, and that was one of them. I forgot what the other one did, and that was about it. But they went out trick-or-treating. I manned the door, passed out candy to the neighborhood. I live in one of these developments where all the houses are really close together. So you trick or treat here, you can hit a lot of people in a short amount of time. So people come from miles around and park, all up and down our roads to come trick or treating here. So we get a lot of trick or treaters. Some cool costumes too. My film class finally resumed after 2 weeks of canceled classes, and yesterday or Tuesday we started pre-production on a short film that we're going to be filming next week, which it's only like a 2-minute sketch basically, but I'm in it. I'm one of the actors. Looking forward to it. It's going to be cool. My first real film type thing. And I mentioned this before the show, but I realized that not much is going to get done as far as me being productive with anything until this dog is housebroken at least, because I have to keep getting up every 10 minutes for something. It's like I sit down to try to get some work done, and then I have to get up and walk the dog, and then I come back, and then I sit down, and then 10 minutes later I have to get up and clean up where he peed, and then because he holds it while he's outside. It's like we walk around the neighborhood for 45 minutes, and he holds it. He comes in the house, and he goes in the corner, and he pees. And yeah, it's like he's a spiteful little brat. And then there's everyone else, in the house asking me to do one thing or another for them, and I'm getting up every 10 minutes and nothing is getting done. So it's great. It's a wonderful existence. I sit on the couch and then 10 minutes later I get up off the couch, and then I sit on the couch and 10 minutes later I get up off the couch. And so this right here, this like 1 hour of me sitting at my chair in my office is like the longest I'm going to be sitting down all day. So Phil, what have you been up to?
Busy, man. I have I've gotten myself in. I had some opportunities for coaching presented to me, and I have spent a ton of money on 2 very expensive coaching programs that I'm in the middle of right now. One of them is an artist marketing program and that I'll be sharing information with other artists as I learn stuff if it works, and then the other one that is to build my teaching studio, because I'm a music teacher too. And I had both these programs came up at the same time, and they're like, well, it's only going to be open this one time this year, then you have to wait till next year. And so I jumped in on both of them, and so I'm trying to keep up with 2 really in-depth coaching programs at the same time, and I've sunk thousands of dollars into them, which means I have to make my money back. And so I've spent all my time doing that. It's going to really, really pay off over the next year. I'm very excited. I like to have a path. I like to have a checklist. I like that kind of stuff. And so that's what I've been doing. And I've been trying to convince myself to sit in front of my laptop and book some gigs. My calendar is very light at the moment, but God, I hate booking gigs. That's my least favorite part of this job.
Hey,
and
do me a favor.
I've been doing some of that.
Put the name of the program you're in the chat, because I'm wondering if it's the same one that I did.
Oh, okay. All right. I will do that. There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, there are.
Is that the one?
I don't think so, but it might be.
Okay.
Because
Well,
it's
we'll
got
see
a
if it
name.
works.
It's got a name similar to that. I'm trying to remember what mine was. There were 2 of them. One had Elite something in the name, like Elite Music Marketing Program.
No,
the other was the Online
they
Musician.
all do that.
Yeah.
Elite, Gold, Platinum.
Yeah.
Elite meat beaters.
So we'll see if it works. I'm hoping it works. I'm hoping I can at least get my money back on the project and learn some new things along the way. But yeah, so I've been doing that. I've been trying to convince myself to sit down and book some more shows. I'm going back on the road in March for a couple of weeks, which will be my first time actually leaving the state since everything. So I'm very excited about that. And we had a very light Halloween. We had maybe a dozen trick-or-treaters in our neighborhood. It was very, very, very light. And my girlfriend's a Halloween Scrooge, so we don't do much. We don't do much at all. Because I asked, she's never been like a Halloween person. I was super Halloween person when I was a kid, and that was always one of the things we never agreed on. And I said, well, what did you do when you were a kid at Halloween? And she said, homework. And I said, well, that is the problem.
Yes, that's a big problem.
Yeah. And so she's never been a Halloween person. And so I bring home a bag of candy because I have high hopes. I bring home a bag of candy, and she immediately segregates it into things she likes and puts them in a separate bowl and goes, don't give those away unless you have to. And first she yells at me for not getting a bag of all stuff that she likes, and I'm like, that bag doesn't exist.
Right.
Because they always put a few good things and then a bunch of garbage in the bag. That's how they sell it to you. And I said, so she took out all the Kit Kats and all the peanut butter cups. I see you can't have the peanut butter cups there, yeah. Devo. And but she took those out, and she said, here, the Rolos and the Whoppers and the Milk Duds, you can give those away. and then we only had like a dozen kids. And so now we have most of that bag of candy still left, and we're slowly working our way through that to the chagrin of our bathroom scale.
You can save it for next year. That stuff doesn't go bad, so.
It doesn't, but it also doesn't last when it's in front of me. It just doesn't. Yeah, it just doesn't. If it's out, I will eat it. My favorite part of Halloween is the day after, because I go buy discount candy corn at the Walgreens, and I bought 2 pounds of candy corn.
2 pounds of candy corn.
2 pounds of candy corn that was going to cost me $2. And the guy goes, oh, you have $2 in rewards on your account. You want to use that? And I was like, free candy corn. Yes.
I think I saw 2 pounds of candy corn open for Scooter Picnic once.
And I just finished eating that 2 pounds of candy corn this afternoon, so it didn't even last that long.
How big of a bag is 2 pounds of candy corn?
It was actually, I got 1 pound of candy corn and 1 pound of mallow cream pumpkins because I like those too. And so it was just like a little square container. That doesn't look like a pound, but they're heavy candies.
Yeah,
and so I had 2 of those, and they're gone now. They're gone. And now I have to start running or something. I don't know.
All right. Yeah. So, Ian, what have you been up to?
I had a headache that lasted 2 weeks.
Woof.
That is about all I have done. It finally went away the Halloween weekend, though. So I was at least able to enjoy the holiday. We got bags of candy, and the temptation became too great, and I had to open one. And you said you had Kit Kats and Reese's Cups to set aside. This was supposed to have Kit Kats in it. I think each bag had maybe 2 Kit Kats in them. And then all the rest of the stuff. And Kit Kats are Ian's favorite.
One bag had a kit and the other bag had a cat.
That's exactly right, yeah. But, we made it to Halloween, and my headache finally went away after 2 weeks. I was supposed to be using those 2 weeks to work on the new album, but that's been pushed back now. But on Halloween, so in our neighborhood, the kids are supposed to start trick-or-treating at like 3 p.m. And Sarah usually works all week, and then she has Saturday where she works at the local pantry. So Sunday is her day for sleeping in. Mm-hmm. And we woke up about 12:30 to a knock on the door. And it was trick-or-treaters at 12:30 in the afternoon.
We had an early one too, but it was only
right there.
It was some grandfather who succumbed to the children's cries of "take us trick-or-treating." And she answered the door in a robe because she thought it was like the neighbor or something like that. And then, oh wait, no, it's almost trick-or-treat. So here's candy for the children's, and then let's hurriedly throw things on that are kind of Halloween-y and not a costume because we kind of panicked. And then we got set up on the lawn for we have a candy slide because Sarah has become the mother of dragons. We have 7 inflatable dragons on the lawn.
I saw the picture. It was impressive.
We got 3 new ones this year. And we have a bunch for Christmas as well that are specifically Christmas dragons. I want to get ones for all the holidays. I want to get ones with a jaunty St. Patrick's hat. Let's get an Arbor Day dragon. Have some fun with it. But we have 7 freaking dragons on the lawn, so we are the popular house in the neighborhood. And we have a candy slide that we made last year because of the panini, the pandemic. I mean, we call it the panini just to make it fun. And and so it's a giant tube with lights in it, and we put a dragon mask on the end of it so it looks like a dragon too. So we have an extra dragon that barfs candy into kid bags. So we were a popular house, and we had something like 150 kids throughout the day. It was pretty great. And she set up a little lantern that's also a Bluetooth speaker, and every time a kid with a costume that was a specific pop culture thing, she quickly went through the playlist and played the theme song for them as they approached.
Nice.
So you have kids in Harry Potter robes coming down, and the Harry Potter music starts as by the time they get to the house. And so we had a good time for the holiday, but other than that, other than getting over something's trying to squeeze my brain, I've been working on getting this album finished, which is now coming out December 3rd instead of next Friday. So, things. Also, prepping a new music video coming out next Wednesday.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. So, Kit Kats are my favorite too, and I have 2 questions about Kit Kats.
Yes.
One, Do you eat them like layer by layer, like disassemble the wafer?
No. I eat them differently every time. Sometimes I will eat them layer by layer. Sometimes I will break them off and shove one hole into my face. Sometimes I put it sideways and then break it. And then sometimes I eat them like a maniac and take all 4 of them and bite into them at once.
Okay, so the answer is yes. You have at least disassembled them and taken them apart.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will take one whole, shove it in my face, and then wait for the chocolate to melt before chewing.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, Ian.
Yes, Luke.
Earlier, did you say that 2 pounds of candy corn, you saw them open for Scooter Picnic?
Yes, I did.
Yes, that's they are a death metal Night Before Christmas cover band.
Perfect.
And the other question I have is, have you had the big Kit Kat?
Yes.
Isn't that awesome?
It's a lot of wafer.
It is, but it's awesome.
It's awesome, yes. But it's like there's never such thing as too many Kit Kats, but sometimes when it's having trouble fitting into your fat head, it becomes problematic to chew, is really only my issue with it. The thing I like really is the different flavors of Kit Kats. Like Japan gets all the crazy flavors of Kit Kats, and I did a bunch on the when I used to do the taste test show, Insanian Taste Tests. Breakman Z brought a bunch to MarsCon, and we tried them on one of the shows. And now they've started like bringing even weirder ones over here. And there's one that they brought out that has been such a huge hit, they're keeping it around, and that is their dark chocolate and mint Kit Kats.
Oh yeah, those are good. That's a good
Those
one.
are so good. And like I had one recently that was cereal Kit Kats cereal.
Oh yeah. They're trying to. Okay,
It
Fruity
tastes like
Pebbles.
Fruit Loops, and they had like birthday cake, and they had lemon pie and apple pie, and those lemon pie and apple pie were okay, but the other two were kind of okay.
So Fruity Pebbles sucks as a cereal, so they're trying to put it into everything
That's
else.
what it was.
So they have
Fruity Pebbles.
They have the Fruity Pebbles Kit Kat. They have Fruity Pebbles like granola bars. They have Fruity Pebbles like Rice Krispie treats, and they have Fruity Pebbles.
Had Fruity Pebbles as a mystery flavor in Oreos a couple years ago.
Yeah, and they had Fruity Pebbles like rice cake snacks type thing. They were basically rice cakes made out of Fruity Pebbles, and they were so bad even my kids wouldn't eat them. We got a bag as a free sample from ShopRite during one of our pickups, and we tried them, and they were awful. And even my kids
I've seen your kids eat insulation, so
yes,
that's saying a lot. So.
My kids eat anything. I got 3 growing teenagers. They eat anything, and they wouldn't touch. They each took a little piece of it, and they were like, "No," just put it down. So yeah, Fruity Pebbles, wherever you are, stop trying to make that a thing. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You suck.
The only person who likes them is Barney. Let's
Yes.
So what is the worst candy? A Fruity Pebbles bar, or Cheez-Its covered in ants?
Cheez-Its covered in ants.
The Cheez-Its covered in ants.
Devo, he kept eating the Cheez-Its covered with ants.
Yeah,
Those were clearly tasty.
I did it 3 times, and all 3 times I couldn't taste the ants. So I'd have to say that the Cheez-Its covered in ants is definitely a better option.
That's the best box slogan you're ever going to get. Cheez-Its covered with ants. I couldn't even taste the ants.
Now with more protein.
Right. You got to get your protein somewhere.
And instead of Barney Rubble, they should get Pink Panther to be the cartoon mascot for it, so they can go dead ant, 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 dead ant.
How long you been sitting on that one? All right, so
at least since I was in middle school when I first heard that song.
All right, so Ian, you posted a song.
I did.
That's why we're here.
It is. It was for Halloween, kind of, but also kind of for the 35th anniversary of one of my favorite game series of all time.
Yeah, so give us a quick intro. We'll give it a listen.
I first did a snippet of this song in 2010, 11 years ago, during one of the epic video game medleys. And I've always thought, yeah, I should do a full version of this someday. And someday happened. So, here
is Dungeon Castlevania by Insane Ian. And I queued up the wrong one, so that must mean it's down here. Let's try that again.
Transylvanian highway, bats fly through the air. I think I see a zombie rising up over there. Up ahead in the distance, a castle just appeared. Hear the howling of a werewolf now. This just keeps getting weird. They say that's where they took her after our wedding bells. And I was thinking to myself, I could be walking straight into hell. Then I whipped out a candle, a bag of coins just fell out. Didn't think this could get much stranger. Then the mermen shout, welcome to this castle, Castlevania. It's spectacular, home of Dracula. There's plenty of room in the dungeon, Castlevania. Just stay for the night, or perhaps a bite. His mind is totally twisted, and he's best friends with death. He got a lot of ugly guards with real bad breath. How they float through the courtyard, sweet, now I'm dead. That's not what I meant by wanting a little head. So I broke open wall bricks, roast chicken inside, and I said, this tastes like it's been sitting here since 1469. And still I don't see how this could be much worse. Now it's dark, what a horrible night, just to have a curse. Welcome to the castle, Castlevania. Let me crouch here. A whirlwind appears. They're living it up in the town by Castlevania. What a nice surprise. The townspeople lie. Now I'm on the ceiling. The whole castle has flipped, and now I have to go through all this again just to get to his crypt. And in the master's chambers, I gathered his body parts. I'd burn them to reverse the curse, but I just don't have the heart. Last thing I remember, he asked, what is a man? Threw his goblet as he called me names, so I kicked his butt and ran. Sure, said the ferryman, I'll take you to a good place. But Truck will be back every couple years. This plot you will retrace.
Yes, start it over again.
No, it was the credits. We don't need to hear the credits.
You were playing the music video.
I was playing the music video, yes.
Did you sing that in the original key of B?
Yes.
Oh man, that I cannot hit that key at all. Damn,
Weirdly,
Don Henley and his alto voice.
Kind of can. I mean, it's weird what stuff's in my range and what isn't. I have a much higher range than I ever thought I did, and my producer's like, "Yeah, I didn't have to touch any of this. This was all." I was like, "Oh, it probably should have." But yeah, no, it's that for some reason, like certain things are right at the tip of my range where it doesn't sound like I'm drowning a cat. So I'm thankful for that. So
good on you, man. It's a tough key.
I am not a strong singer by any stretch of the imagination. So,
but yeah, this is an awesome, fill out of that little idea you had. I loved this when you did this at FuMPFest. That was awesome.
Yeah, I was so happy to premiere this at FuMPFest. That instrumental track by Professor Shy Guy is so damn good.
Yes, it is.
And it was like a happy accident getting him to do the track too, because my producer Ben is usually who does my backing tracks, and he's had a lot of gigs lately where he's going out of town and performing. He used to work at the piano bar Howl at the Moon, but the one in Baltimore closed, and now he's been doing sort of that kind of thing as different gigs where he's just going to places and playing music as a profession. And, because he plays everything. And he's doing really well doing gigs like that, but when I needed to have the music for that song, he was unable to do it because he was busy with some other gigs. And so I made a post on Facebook, because I know a bunch of people who make music, and Shy Guy replied. And I was like, wait a minute, Shy Guy doing this would actually be perfect because he already does chiptune.
Yeah.
And one of the ideas that Ben and I were talking about was putting in some of the chiptune influence into the backing track. And since Ben wasn't super familiar on how to do that really well, and since Shy Guy, that's what he does, it ended up being absolutely perfect. And I'm like, can you maybe work in some of the theme music, like Bloody Tears from Castlevania or Castlevania 2, which is like the theme song everybody knows from Castlevania. Mm-hmm. And he worked in 3 different songs from 3 different games into the chiptune music, and it's freaking glorious.
It is. Yeah, definitely glorious is the way to describe it. It's an amazing piece of work.
I love that backing track so much. I hate to ruin it with my warbling vocals, but it's so much fun. And the backing video that I did for FuMPFest ended up being the video I posted on YouTube the same day. So,
and the one I just played
lyrics to it. The one you just played, yes. And I added lyrics to the screen, obviously. But
yes.
Yeah, that song was a lot of fun, and I wanted to make sure that this had a video for it, because there's a couple lines in it that, unless you know the part in the game, it's kind of like ambiguously a joke. So, like, unless you actually know the part in the game that I'm referencing,
yeah,
visuals help it a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm actually referencing things that happens in 4 different Castlevania games, almost 5 different Castlevania games, because they say that's where they took her after our wedding bells is actually the plot of the arcade version of Castlevania called Haunted Mansion.
Oh, so, okay.
That's not in any of like the main Castlevania canon. So it's the first 3 Castlevania games and Symphony of the Night, which is one of the most popular Castlevania games, and then that one piece from Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, see, it's been so long since I've played the games. I actually, seeing your video of the gameplay, I was like, I really want to go back and play those again. But been so long. They have the
Castlevania collection on Switch, man.
Yeah, and I don't remember the storyline of the various games. All I know is it's like, yeah, you're a Belmont and you're fighting Dracula. That's pretty much the extent of the story that I remember.
Pretty much it, yeah. Like, the Belmont is a vampire hunting clan. They have a whip called the Vampire Killer. 3 actually takes place before the other 2.
Yeah.
And the second game, Simon's Quest, was such a departure from the other games because it was more of an RPG. And you had to like collect different things in order to resurrect Dracula to destroy him completely. So like you had to gather like his fang, his lungs, his heart. That's why I said singing the song when I just don't have the heart.
Yeah.
Want to burn his body, but I just don't have the heart because I haven't collected it yet. But the thing in that game is there is no way to beat that game unless you have the Nintendo Power issue where they gave you the walkthrough, because it's so obscure and obtuse in its like the villagers in the town outright lie to you, and there's no way for you to know that. Like they're speaking in riddles, and like unless you have a guide to figure out what the hell they're talking about, there's no way to beat that game. You have to crouch on that cliff facing away for like a full minute before that.
I remember that, like
appears.
when that stupid whirlwind thing, and I remember reading about that, and I'm like, how the hell are you supposed to figure that out? Like
everybody says that. How are you supposed to know that? Because nothing in the game like outright tells you that. There is a ROM hack of the game where somebody went and changed all the townspeople's lies into actual what the clues are supposed to be.
Okay.
Because apparently
that makes more sense.
It happened in like translation or something like that.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
So it was like in the localization where like the hints kind of like became riddles or more riddles because of they were riddles originally, and like they got more muddled in the translation or something like that. So
yeah, but that was kind of a thing though in the early 80s, like these really obscure like things you're supposed to just know how to do in video games. Like, did you ever play the Raiders of the Lost Ark game for the Atari 2600?
A long time ago. Yeah.
Long time ago.
There's a part of that game where you have to take a bomb to a certain screen and put it in a certain spot, and it blows a hole in the wall, and you have no way of knowing that that's what you're supposed to be doing. And it wasn't until I actually read a playthrough on somewhere on how to beat this game, because I got stuck, and I'm walking around, I'm doing everything I can do, and it said, okay, you have to take this bomb or grenade or whatever it was and put it here, and then walk off screen, and then walk back on screen, and there's a hole in the wall. And I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to know that?
It's like seeing the actual strategies for ET on Atari.
Yeah.
and seeing all the things you have to collect in a game that took a dude 6 weeks to make, and you're like,
right.
Wait, this is way more complex than I thought it was going to be. Why? Yeah. I'm playing through Castlevania 3, which is my favorite in the entire series. I'm playing through Castlevania 3 right now on PS5, and I beat this game as a kid, and if I weren't using the modern version that has save states, there's no way I could have beaten this now. I don't know how I did it as a child, how I was good at Castlevania games, because Castlevania, the first one especially, and many of the other ones are notoriously difficult
They're
games.
hard, yeah.
And I beat the first game, I beat the third game. I've never played the second game. Kind of a little bit of a weird admission here. Yes, I know all the things about the game, but I actually have not played Simon's Quest. But I beat the first and third game. The third game was my favorite game growing up. I beat it several times using different characters, and I'm playing it now going, how the fuck did I do this? And I'm using save states to make sure that I'm not dying and shit. And it's
Is there, because you're playing it now on the PS5 on an HD TV, right?
Yeah.
Is there any lag?
No. The cool thing about the new Castlevania collections that they've had is like you can set it to be like looking like it's an old school CRT TV. So you can have the interlacing turned on and off, and they have it with like pixel perfect translation, or you can have it like stretched to 16:9 if you want it. Why anybody would want that, I don't know. But yeah. It has all these different options for it and everything. It doesn't have rewind. The new Castlevania Game Boy Advance collection that they just released has rewind, which is an even cooler effect with a lot of these emulators that they're releasing, where like, oh, I accidentally jumped off a cliff. Let me hit the rewind and I go back, and then I don't make that mistake again.
Yeah, because I know that like HD TVs, because of the analog digital conversion or digital analog conversion, I forget which way it's going. It introduces a little bit of lag, so you have to put the TV into game mode so that there's no signal processing happening.
I am playing on game mode, I will admit. So maybe I haven't noticed, but Castlevania is a game that has it's one of those games that has that kind of precise jumping and timing with the whip.
Yeah, exactly.
And the sequence with the Medusa heads, which everybody flipping hates, and I haven't noticed enough of a lag because his jump, you can't change direction in his jump arc. When Simon jumps, you're going that way, whether there's no, you've made
not
that
Mario.
decision, you're committing.
Yeah.
And it's, I haven't noticed any input lag, but again, it's also been so many years since I've played these.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you went back and played like an original system on an original CRT TV, if you would notice a difference.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've been able to play something like that. I have cords to play my old systems on new TVs now, so that they look good. And you
need a CRT though. A flat screen is going to introduce lag.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't have a CRT anymore.
Okay,
So
I still have one in the other room specifically for old video games.
It was like 300 pounds, so I'm not.
Yes, it is.
I'm not toting that around anymore.
I'm not either. It's in that room, and that's where it's going to stay.
I've moved a lot, but there's a band called Bit Brigade, and the whole thing of Bit Brigade is they play video game music as a full band, but they play it while somebody on stage plays the game. So the person on stage is doing a speed run of the game. So whatever stage that they're in, the band will play that stage's music. And if he dies, they'll play the death music or whatever.
That's cool.
And I've seen them do a speed run of Castlevania, the first one. The good dude they have on stage playing the game is amazing. The band's incredible anyway. I have the album of their Castlevania album, which is just all the songs from the first game. And watching him speed run that game, they went through the entire game in like 17 minutes.
Nice.
It was incredible, and it's just fun to watch. And they're coming to Chicago soon, so
cool.
Gonna be at Beat Kitchen in like a week.
Nice, awesome. Yeah, I've beaten one of them, but I don't remember which one it was. It was either 1 or 3. I know it wasn't 2. 3 is
the one where you pick up other characters and can switch between them.
I think that might have been it. And I know it wasn't Super Castlevania, and I know it wasn't the 64 version. Because that one I never even got very far into. That just wasn't a very.
I don't think I've even played the Castlevania 64.
Yeah,
or
it's not really a good game.
When they went into 3D, Konami was like, "We know this is the thing, but we don't know what we're doing."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sorry, Luke. What were you saying? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna back when you were talking about like needing the guide to beat that the game. Like I would get games for my Commodore 128 back in the day, and there was a game based on the movie Labyrinth, and it was because of course Labyrinth, so there were a lot of there was a whole kind of having to figure out the tricks and stuff to it. I was never able to get very far in that game at all, let alone beat it. And I just wanted to know if either of you recall anything about that game, if that rings a bell at all.
I never even had a Commodore 128. I had a Commodore 64, but I never even had a 128.
I know the game existed, but I don't think I ever played it.
Yeah, because it was kind of part scroller and part RPG kind of stuff, which was probably my first experience with that kind of a thing. Well, outside of like Oregon Trail or whatever, but but I remember like there were like all these things you could do, like the pull down menu of talk to this character, do this to this character, this to that, and one of the commands was the word adumbrate, which I don't think I've ever heard used again. I was trying to look it up at the time to figure out what that word meant, and I think it meant like insult or something like that. And I could never figure out what the point of having that command in the game was. But yeah, it was just. So I'm gonna mention that out to our listeners and viewers. If anybody had the Labyrinth game for computers back in the day, did anybody ever beat that game? Because I don't think any. I just gave up after.
I'm sure if you look on GameFAQs or whatever, there's a walkthrough for it.
There's probably a walkthrough on YouTube. You could probably watch somebody play the whole thing.
Entirely possible.
All right. So, do you have anything you'd like to plug, sir?
Of course I do. If you liked this song and like the background that's behind me right now about the song, I have posters of it that you can't see because green screen is stupid. There we go. I have to angle it. I have posters of it. You can get it at insaneian.bandcamp.com. You can also pre-order my new album that this song is going to be on, Illinois. It was supposed to be out next week, but because Ian had a little heady problem, it is now coming out December 3rd, which means you can still pre-order the album. If you pre-order the album before it comes out, you get a bonus live album. You get my entire live set from FuMPFest from this year, in addition to the studio album Illinois. So if you bought it at FuMPFest, if you bought the CD from me for Illinois from FuMPFest, there's a code on the front of the disc that you can put in, and that gets you the pre-order. So don't buy it twice. I mean, unless you want to give me money twice, which I'm okay with. Also, I have a YouTube channel where I do reactions to comedy music as well as my own music at youtube.com/insaneian. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. I'm 112 away from 10,000 subscribers right now. And also, Wednesday of next week, I have a brand new music video coming out for a song I've already released for Delivery Boy, but it's directed by Patrick Murphy, who's directed videos for Psycho Stick.
Nice.
I'm very excited for people to see this video. It is really awesome, and Murph did an amazing job with this, and that premieres on Wednesday next week.
And somebody did a reaction video to one of your songs.
Actually, two. Just today, somebody did a reaction to Dungeon Castlevania.
Oh, cool.
But there's a nerdcore reactor called What It Do Dave, who did a reaction to We're All Gonna Die, which is a song that features Devo Spice, as well as Kiki Cannon and Shiver the Dark Lord. It is a song that I released like 10 years ago. He had a poll on his YouTube channel asking for spooky songs, and whatever song got the most likes would be the one that he would react to. And I put in the comments my song, and then I told my YouTube subscribers to head over to his channel and vote for it, and it won. So it's he reacted to it, and go check that out. It's What It Do Dave. I've posted the link to it on my community page on YouTube, but you can also see my tweets about it, or if you search for What It Do Dave, you'll see his reaction channel, and it was done a couple days ago. Oh, no, It came out on Halloween. It came out Sunday.
Yes, it was a lot of fun watching that. That was cool.
Yeah, I like how everybody who's on the song came by and commented on it, except for Schaefer. But
Cool. All right, let's do some news.
Technically, me and Carrie are in that song, too.
Yes, you and Carrie are screaming in the opening of it. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
All right, here's a promo.
This is the FuMP.
I think we're safe and this camp's a drag. So come get banged in my sleeping bag. It seems the last mistake that we're ever gonna make was having our first date at Camp Crystal Lake.
You there, what you wanna be when you grow up?
I'm gonna be an R&B singer.
Well, that's dumb. You in the back with them baby hands. What you wanna be when you grow up?
I wanna be a Teen Titan.
Baby, I can do it. I know I'll be a Teen Titan tonight.
I can do it, I can do it.
That's the Funny Music Project at thefump.com. THEFUMP.com.
Even about your recent frequent tweeting, and I wonder what good old Harry would say. Your mean tweets we've been surfing. Why you gotta keep on turfing? Rolling, rolling.
time for funny music news. Something, something, something.
In the news, Drew Jacobs has launched a Kickstarter for his new Christmas album, Christmas Ball Busting. Drew has previously released 3 CDs, each one containing one Christmas song. This Christmas compilation includes those 3 songs plus 5 more, which have never been heard before. He is looking to raise $600, and as of the last time I checked, he is at $121 with 23 days to go. So head to Kickstarter.com, search for Drew Jacobs Christmas Ball Busting, and you should have no trouble finding it. And Barnes & Barnes' new album, Pancake Dream, will be out tomorrow. It'll be available in stores tomorrow, and at least one person in the Dr. Demento group on Facebook has said his pre-order has arrived already. If you have not ordered it yet, you can pick yours up at dementedpunk.com. And tomorrow is another Bandcamp Friday, where Bandcamp is waiving its fees, meaning more money goes to the artists. So tomorrow is a great day to support your favorite artist on Bandcamp, such as
Insane.bandcamp.com.
Yes. That's all the news I got. Luke, you got anything before tour dates?
I can't remember the timing of last week's episode with Paramount Plus, but the show Star Trek Prodigy is up for the world to see. So you can go to Paramount Plus and watch this new Star Trek show that has Bonnie Gordon in it as the voice of the USS Protostar ship's computer. She only has one line in the first episode, but
it was so short I didn't even catch it.
Yeah, me neither. I was like so engrossed in what was going on, I didn't stop to think about it, and then it wasn't until afterwards and I'm like, oh wait, she did say something, and then
yes.
I went back and I watched it again. So yeah.
Yeah, I watched the third episode this afternoon after work.
It's like I always miss stuff like, I'll be up late at night and I'll like be checking, realgood.tv and stuff like that to see like what stuff has been uploaded to where, and then it'll be like, the following day I'll find out stuff went up last night. I'm like, well, dang it, I could have watched that show. So I'll have to watch that when I get back from seeing Eternals. So
cool. I have a news piece.
Sure.
I mean, other than the shameless plug for my album and video that's coming out next week, Weird Al Yankovic was in the Sparks Brothers documentary by Edgar Wright, and the Blu-ray just came out. And one of the special features on the Blu-ray is Weird Al covering This Town's Not Big Enough for the Both of Us on accordion by Sparks Brothers. And they recently released that cover on Twitter and YouTube. So
that's what that's from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Edgar Wright tweeted it out. Al posted it on his YouTube channel. It's he's not singing it. He's just playing the music on accordion. But if you ever wondered what Sparks song inspired Al's Virus Alert, it's that one.
Oh, interesting.
You can really hear the chord progression in it, and it very much sounds like he's going into the chorus of Virus Alert. So that is the song that inspired that pastiche.
So I wanted to find out, because I was confused upon hearing about the existence of this film. I was under the impression that it was like a Spinal Tap kind of thing where they made up a band.
No. This is a documentary. It's not a mockumentary. It's a documentary about the real band, the Sparks Brothers.
See, that's the thing, is I had never heard of the Sparks Brothers before, but
you've heard the song Virus Alert, right? By Weird Al. And you know that it was a pastiche of the band.
No, I don't. I don't have to know that.
That's the thing. Al, in all the liner notes on his recent albums, thanks the band that he's pastiching now, in addition to thanking the band that he's directly parodied. So he thanked Sparks, and he said in a lot of interviews, Sparks has been one of his favorite bands for years, and he always wanted to do a pastiche of their style, and finally did it with Virus Alert. And a lot of people have listed Sparks as an influence. They are... It's hard to pin down their style because a lot of their stuff is so different from the other stuff. But
Is Sparks Brothers considered a comedy band in any way?
no, they're just avant-garde outsider music.
Okay, because I don't know, just the way I was given the information, it left me with the impression that like Edgar Wright invented a fake comedy band and then made a mockumentary about this greatly influential comedy band and got Weird Al and everybody that's important in comedy music to be on it talking about this fake band. But
no,
apparently I'm thoroughly wrong.
No, but maybe you have a new project.
Yeah, no, that's the thing that I'm working on now. Thanks, Luke.
Like, I can't get people to care about my legitimate comedy music without making another fake band of comedy music. So, yeah.
The nichest of the niche.
Yes. All right. So, tour dates. On Sundays in Nashville, Tennessee, Steve Goodie hosting at the Bluebird. On Tuesdays online, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. You still doing that?
Woo!
I am still doing that every
Awesome.
Tuesday, 12:30.
On Thursdays online, Steve Goodie and Brad Tassel. On the 6th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the Gothsicles. On the 6th in Millbrook, New York, Drew Jacobs. On the 12th online, Carla Ulbrich. On the 13th in Houston, Texas, the Consortium of Genius. The 13th in Los Banos, California, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction.
Oh, you know what? That one got canceled. Sorry.
That one got canceled. Forget I said anything. And birthdays. Today's birthday is Steve Goodie. Happy birthday, Steve.
Today is his actual birthday.
Today is his actual birthday, and I wish I had remembered that while I was doing the interview with him yesterday, because I could have wished him a happy birthday and it would have worked, and I forgot. So sorry.
Whoops.
Yeah. Oh well.
So like earlier, Phil, you said that you were having trouble booking gigs. So does that just mean like instead of doing 28 gigs a month, you're doing 27 gigs a month? Is that how that works?
No, my calendar's like I'm talking like 2-3 gigs a month now, and it's really just mostly getting myself to sit down and send out emails into the ether and have everybody ignore them. That's the part I'm having trouble with. If I just do it, it happens.
I have no trouble with people ignoring my emails.
People ignore me all the time. It's a thing.
Right?
It's a talent I have.
How to have people ignore your emails? That's no problem.
Oh, Devo, I didn't notice you were here. Sorry.
All right, so Phil.
Yes, sir.
You posted a song.
I did.
Give us a quick intro. We'll give it a listen.
Sure. It's called Sweatpants. This one started when I was doing my 30-second song project to whenever that was. It came out on one of my daily 30-second songs, and then it ended up on the Itty Bitty Ditty Committee album, which came out earlier this year, which is an album that has 33 songs. The whole album clocks into just under 18 minutes, and so there's a very short version of that on there. I did a little music video for it, and then I decided that there was more to the story to be told, so I sat in and I started working on the full version. And I kind of had, for the singer, I kind of had this sort of David Lee Roth character in my head singing it, and then I was working on it just as Eddie Van Halen passed, and I thought, what if I just did this whole thing like a lost Van Halen track, just a Van Halen pastiche? And so I jumped deep into their catalog. I was never like a big Van Halen guy. I always appreciated them, but that was never my main band. So I jumped into their catalog pretty deep and just started I started playing a bunch of the Eddie Van Halen guitar stuff, and I started listening closer to Alex's drums, and I pretty much knew what Michael Anthony did, Doug, but I was listening to the way he did his backing vocals and things like that. So I really dug into the way they put their songs together. And sat down and did this song about plus there's a little bit of good old 80s style mansplaining in it, and so I had to cast it in sort of that fashion. So yeah, that's Sweatpants with a special guest appearance by Earl Boberly in the bridge.
All right, here is Sweatpants by Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction, assuming I push the right button.
Woo! Throw your leisure wear in the air.
with the high heels and the mini skirt. He said, indeed I do. I said, Earl, do you see how she has to keep pulling that skirt down so her charms don't fall out and cause the internet to fall about in hysterics? He said, indeed I do. I said, you know, Earl, you know what that's doing to her feet and her lower back? He said, indeed I do. I said, Earl, I think I should go tell her about it, maybe. He said, indeed you should. So I sashayed on over to this chiropractor's dream, and I said, baby. She said, what? And I said, baby. She said, what? And I said, baby. And she said, oh my God, are you deaf? What? Put on some sweatpants. Sweatpants and Thanos slippers. Put on some sweatpants. Sweatpants and got on slippers. Put on some sweatpants. Legs are 4 and 8 instead of 6 and 6. My elbows dance, no money spent on blister sticks. So sweatpants. 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 100% pre-shrunk cotton, baby.
Way to nail that sound.
Yeah, man, that is an excellent Van Halen pastiche. Even got the Diamond Dave vocals really going well. So
yeah, I sang a little dirtier than he does. He's a little bit cleaner, but I can't. I couldn't sell it with the clean. I had to get a little raspy with it. But I destroyed both my
that makes
fingers
it a
and my
good
voice
mix of
doing that.
Diamond Dave and Sammy Hagar. So
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I trashed my fingers learning how to play that stuff. What's amazing though is I dialed up that Van Halen tone and guitar rig, and I started playing in it. I was like, oh, that's why he uses this tone. It's so awesome to play, and it's so squishy and comfortable. There's all sorts of weird little harmonics that pop out and everything. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have tough time going back to my regular tone after that.
Nice. That's awesome. So yeah, we played the video for this song, which you had posted. Lots of flashy strobe lights. Probably should have issued a warning on that one. Whoops, sorry. Anyone on Twitch is having a seizure right now. I apologize.
that's why they call it Twitch.
Yeah,
That's right.
Sorry. That was bad. I'm sorry.
No, so yeah, so how did you manage to I mean, besides the guitar sound effect, how did you manage to capture that sound so well?
It was a lot of it was the drums, really. I had never really listened to Alex Van Halen's drums that close to see what he was doing, and when I dug into it, I was like, oh, he's doing things that when I play the drums, I wouldn't think to do. He was using a lot of 16ths on the hi-hat. He was using more 4-on-the-floor kick drum than I would have thought he was at that time. I hadn't thought of it in that style, and so I just kind of dug into his style of drums, and that sold a lot of it. Between that and the riff, and kind of hitting those high Michael Anthony backing vocals, that's you can pretty much capture a lot of it if you do those three things. You get that guitar tone, and it was looking into Eddie's parts and using the same type of chord inversions that he was using, because he wouldn't use a lot of just straight power chords and things like that. He would use almost more like Rolling Stones voicings of his chords on the upper 4 strings, plus some tapping stuff. There's a little bit of tapping in the beginning, and so I don't know, I kind of squished all that stuff in there and kept I was using Unchained and Panama as kind of my reference tracks.
Yeah, I definitely heard a lot of Panama in that.
Yeah, me too.
And the spoken word breakdown in the middle too is right in that sweet spot of that era too.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like the tone, but you just kind of got like the visceral, like the subject matter works for the Van Halen pastiche too.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love about pastiches is when you can get the melding right between what your song's about and what style you're aping. And
see, that's the thing. I can totally picture David Lee Roth jumping up and doing a split in sweatpants.
Absolutely, yeah.
And splitting them right down the middle. That'd be the best part.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the first time I've ever done like an artist pastiche. I've done style pastiches, but I've never really targeted a specific artist like that before. And it was pretty fun. I don't know that I would do it on a regular basis, but it was a fun experiment for a song that needed that kind of sound.
It definitely works.
It definitely ended up being ideal for that song.
Yeah, it worked out nice. So now the song I'm working on now. It'll be out in January. So I've got this tomorrow, Friday. I've got a bootleg album coming out. That is from my last comedy special. There were some aborted shows that we filmed for my last comedy special that the sound came out garbage and the camera wasn't that great, but I found one good sound on one of the cameras, and so I'm releasing that as a bootleg copy because the shows were amazing. The shows were so good in San Diego that we filmed, and we just didn't get anything we could use out of them visually and audibly. So the Burning Sensation, the San Diego bootleg, is coming out tomorrow. I've got a Christmas single coming out in December. That's actually it's a straight cover of a very mopey Christmas song. So it's not funny at all. It's a song called I'm Not Really in the Mood for Christmas This Year by Fox Brigade. Fox Brigade, I think is the name of the song. I don't know. My friend Dave brought it to me, and he was doing it for a thing at his theater, and he was like, hey, I need a backing track. And this was last year, and I was like, hey, we got this backing track. Maybe we should just finish the song and put it out this year. And so we did that, and he and I have been friends since high school. He sang on the track. It's sort of a track that's been 30 years in the making. And then in January, Happiest Place on Earth will be out, which is a song that I wrote probably 10 years ago and have been playing live since then and never did a studio version for it and really never had an idea of what a studio version of it would sound like. And so I sat in here in my studio and just from scratch reimagined the whole song. And it's kind of coming out like, do you know Here Comes the Mummies? That band?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's kind of coming out
They've
that
played on
vibe.
Dr. Demento a bunch. I think they're on the Demented in Punk compilation.
I might.
Or are they?
I'll probably recognize them if I heard them, but I don't remember the name.
Yeah, they all dress like mummies on stage and play funk.
Nice.
Great band. Yeah, so it's kind of that Happiest Place on Earth is kind of coming out. That's kind of my reference sound for that one. So lots of horn section parts and all sorts of crazy stuff. There's a dub reggae section in the middle of it. It's going to be fun.
Cool. So I'm just curious, has anyone ever told you when you sing normally, not trying to sound like Van Halen, that you sound like anyone in particular?
I've gotten Elton John, which is interesting. And I've gotten, I want to say one time somebody compared me to Chris Robinson from the Black Crowes, but that may have been a visual more than a vocal.
Well, the reason I ask is I was out with my wife today, and she had stuff playing on her phone over the radio, and it was stuff that I had never heard her listen to before. I don't know what playlist she was listening to or where she got this, but we're driving home, and the radio was kind of soft because we were talking, so it wasn't too loud. But I heard what distinctly sounded like your voice, and I was like. Since when does Jen listen to Phil Johnson? I'm like, because like she doesn't. I mean, she likes comedy. She has Weird Al albums when I met her, and she had a Dr. Demento compilation even. But like over the past few years, she hasn't really been into it. And although she did have Math the Band on one of her playlists, so I thought that was interesting. But anyway, so I was like, why was she listening to Phil Johnson? So I looked, and it wasn't you. It was Barry Manilow.
Oh my God!
And I don't remember
not a name I was expecting.
I don't remember what song it was, but it reminded me of like one of the songs you posted recently to the FuMP, where you're just singing, crooning type singing, and it sounded just like you, at least with the radio down kind of low.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay. I hate Barry Manilow, but not necessarily because of his voice, more his songs. But so that's okay. I can deal with his voice.
I love how that whole story culminated with Phil going, I hate Barry Manilow.
That's funny. I would question more why your wife was listening to Barry Manilow.
I would too. I mean, but she had like alternative rock on this list and like some weird type of grungy rock, and I'm like, it's not stuff she normally listens to. So I don't know. I have to ask her about it because she normally listens to like REM and Billy Joel and those type of bands. But I don't know where this playlist came from. I'll have to ask her. But anyway,
well, maybe I have to do a Barry Manilow pastiche now.
You should, yeah. Probably
clearly this is the sign you've been looking for.
Yes. All right.
That's
so funny. Plug your stuff. Whatever is you just plugged a whole bunch of stuff, but whatever's most important, plug that too.
Yeah, so PhilJohnsonComedy.com is the place to get all the stuff. My latest comedy special, Burning Sensation, is available there. Tomorrow, Friday the 5th, the Burning Sensation San Diego bootleg album will be out. It's audio only. There's no video of that, and that'll be out on all the places. It's a different show than from the special, and the crowd was so awesome. I had to find a way to put it out. And then the Christmas song, I'm Not in the Mood for Christmas This Year, I think is the name of it. I was not entirely in charge of that project. But the album cover is fantastic. That'll be out December 3rd, I think. And then Happiest Place on Earth will be out in January. Got other releases coming up next year. And I will hustle up some gigs pretty soon. And I'll make it happen. I'll be back on stage.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Let's do some feedback.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback.
Feedback.
Feedback. You know that segment of the show we do about now?
Feedback. Feedback.
Feedback.
All right, so we have 2 comments from the previous week's episode that I didn't get on last week. They must have come in after I did the update on the playlist. Hamner Hack wrote, "Hey, Great Luke Ski and Devo Spice, talking about forgetting lyrics. I went to see Lorne Elliott live, and he did a song called the Slag Song, which was specific to my hometown. So we call out for him to sing it. He said he couldn't remember the lyrics, but he had them in the liner notes of his CD selections from all directions. As soon as he said that, this guy sitting in the front exploded out of his seat and ran to the lobby. Lauren asked if there was anyone manning the swag table, but the guy came running up on stage, ripping out the CD and handing the CD liner to Lauren, and he sang the Slag Song." And then there's a link to discogs.com with the Lorne Elliott selections from all directions. And Agent G wrote, "The director of The Boogans is James L. Conway. He directed an episode of The Orville, as well as various Star Treks, MacGyver, Charmed, and even The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams. Amazon has a DVD of The Boogans," and he sends a link to Amazon, "or stream it on YouTube," and then there's a link to YouTube. I know there was a DVD release at one point. I was kind of hoping there'd be a Blu-ray release, but I wasn't aware that it was on YouTube, so I may have to just watch it. All right, and then comments on last week's episode. Wacky Ben wrote, "Devo, your cold must have traveled all the way to Springfield because I caught it 2 days after this episode. How dare you? Just kidding. Really loved the Pumpkinhead song, and I rewatched the movie in response." Thank you, Ben. And Father Beast wrote, "Okay, about the Star Treks. The Orville was a show in which initially looked like a Star Trek The Next Generation parody, but when you watched it, it turned out to be a pretty good Star Trek show. Then I got behind in my Star Trek watching, and I heard good things about Lower Decks, but still didn't watch it for quite some time. So just in the last couple of weeks, I have made an effort to watch Lower Decks, and halfway through the first season, it is obvious to me Star Trek Lower Decks is totally the Orville, just brought back home to the Star Trek The Next Generation universe." So thank you, Father Beast. And I agree.
That's not inaccurate, no.
Yes.
But closer to the end of that season, and especially in the second season, it just turns into Star Trek with jokes.
Are you talking about the Orville?
A lot of people stayed away from it because they thought, "Oh no, it's just Rick and Morty and Star Trek." But it's so much more than that now.
Are you talking about the Orville or Lower Decks?
No, Lower Decks.
Okay.
I'm talking about Lower Decks.
I'm like 2 episodes into season 2 right now, and season 1 finale. The season 1 finale was amazing.
of season 2 for Lower Decks is one of the best Trek episodes I have seen in a very long time.
Yeah, you're not the first person I've heard say that. So I'm looking forward to it.
Right now, Luke is driving along using the Morticia Adams light on his eyes.
Yeah, that would be from my rear view because everyone behind me has their brights on. So, but yeah, I was going to say the season 1 finale episode of Lower Decks was like it was like it thoroughly turned into like a proper, Star Trek: The Next Generation episode, with like action and stakes and just it was so friggin' good. And, and season 2, just continued to, make that whole thing even better. And the fact that, it's basically all canon, it just makes it that much more wonderful for me. Also, I saw somebody posted a very brief image from the okay, so Star Trek Discovery they're going to have their 4th season, and it takes place supposedly in the same old Star Trek universe, but they're in like the far future, like several hundred years or something like that. So we see for the first time on this show a Ferengi, and it's like, what kind of Bram Stoker's Dracula bullshit is this? Like they redesigned the Klingons when they first started that show. Someone redesigned the Ferengi, and he looks like a bat person basically. And it's like, dude, watch Lower Decks. They take the drawing they did of a Ferengi and then do that. Better yet, watch Deep Space Nine and just do exactly that. You don't need to change. It's like when they redid the Klingon, it was annoying, but I was like, well, they can say that it's a more fierce string of Klingon whatever, because they're friggin' Klingons. It's like, the Ferengi didn't need to be made to look scarier or something. It's like,
just make Ross Perot with bigger ears. That's all they are.
Right.
So for what amount the Ferengi has appeared on Star Trek Lower Decks, they are doing them correctly, both in design and in character. So
I just love Riker on Lower Decks. I love that version of Riker where he's just like balls to the wall nuts. He's like, I love my job, as he like flies into like this void or whatever.
One of my favorite things about Lower Decks is that every bit of Trek is canon in it, even the original Star Trek animated series.
Yes.
They threw out like straight references to like the giant Spock from one of the animated episodes. That pops up in it, like all the references that they're throwing in to like all like 50 years of Trek canon all of it is canon. It's hilarious to me.
And I love how they actually said like TOS era, like referring to the original series. And what's TOS? I forgot what they said it stands for, though.
Yeah, they actually came up with an acronym for what TOS stood for.
Yeah, like the Kirk era.
It was those old scientists or something
like that. Yeah.
My favorite thing was when one of the characters, probably Mariner, like pulls up an image of like Kirk and Spock on her, her pad, and the image is like taken directly from the Filmation era. So it's like they didn't even change the character design to match the new show. It's like, well, that's just the way these people looked back then. So what I really want them to do is like on Deep Space Nine they did an episode called Trials and Tribulations, where they basically did like a time travel thing where they ended up with the cast of Deep Space Nine on the station where the episode The Trouble with Tribbles happens, and they're like off in the background trying to save Kirk and like solve this whole mystery. So they kind of Forrest Gumped all the Trek actors into that episode. So it's like, because with animation, it would be even easier for them to do that and put and do the lower decks cast, travel back in time and meet the Star Trek the Animated Series cast.
Yeah. Wasn't there a triple episode in the animated series? Have them do that.
They might as well, yeah. All right, so we have one more song to get to, so we should probably do that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We all started talking about Star Trek suddenly and nerded out for a half an hour.
It happens. All right, so Steve Goodie is busy with Brad Tassel doing his show tonight. That's why he can't join us live. So here is their latest bit, Werewolf's Lament by Steve Goodie and Brad Tassel.
The werewolves howl when the moon is bright. Ah-woo, ah-woo, late into the night. The werewolves stalk, seeking tasty things to bite. Chomp, chomp, chomp on everything in sight. If the werewolves see you, you'll never get away. Shriek, 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 you'll make a yummy fillet. If the werewolves bite you, and you live to tell the tale, grr, 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 now join them on the trail. I'm living two lives, one by day, one by night. With the full moon calling, it's a hunger I just can't fight. Your life is over if I catch your scent. That's the curse, that's the cause of the werewolf's lament. A werewolf I've become. Feel the rising moon. Thump, 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 I will be out hunting soon. A werewolf I've become. My claws start to grow. Gurgle, 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 savage blood starts to flow. I'm living two lives, one by day, one by night. With the full moon calling, it's a hunger I just can't fight. Your life is over if I catch your scent. That's the curse, that's the cause of the werewolf. A werewolf I've become. Flesh leads me to town. Sniff, sniff, sniff. A silver bullet takes me down.
To me every time.
I'm here with Steve Goodie. Hi,
Yeah,
Steve.
lucky you. Hi,
Lucky
Tom.
me. What's with the getup?
Well, Brad and I are shooting a song for our Christmas Carol series of videos because we're going to do some Hanukkah and Christmas shows online that he agreed to, and we have no show. We have a bunch of songs, but we don't know what the hell we're doing, so we're panicking and putting together videos and other stuff, and that's what I'll be doing after I'm talking with you, is shooting some video and figuring out our show.
Okay.
This one is for
And here I thought you got dressed up like that just for the FuMPCast.
I got dressed up like this just for the FuMPCast.
Yes,
I did.
thank you. Thank you.
We're doing Mendel the Reindeer. That's today's project, and I must be in caroling mode. Jewish
Okay.
caroling. Very confusing.
So switching gears back to Halloween, tell us about this werewolf song.
Well, we're only 362 days early, but I'm always ready for Halloween.
I am
The
too.
werewolf song, I think, is one of the few from our 2019 album, Vampires Ball, Ultimate Halloween Party, that has not yet been on the FuMP. And it hadn't been on the FuMP because it's rather sad, werewolves are the saddest of all the creatures. They get bitten and then they very painfully turn into a werewolf, which sucks. And then they go on a rampage. They go all night long just biting people and turning other people into werewolves and being very mean and cruel, which would be fun, except that the next day they can't remember any of it. They wake up in the woods alone, shivering, naked. So it's pretty much just like junior high school. So we decided that is the saddest of all the creatures, and we wrote a song called Werewolves Lament to lament the fate of the werewolf. And of course, my favorite from Harry Potter, Remus Lupin.
It never occurred to me, but you're right. It is kind of a sad existence. Especially since you don't get to remember any of the fun parts.
Yeah, and everybody hates you, and it's not your fault. You
right.
got bitten. That sucks.
Like I remember on Buffy the Vampire.
Up in Virginia today.
Yeah, right. On Buffy the Vampire Slayer, when they discovered there was a werewolf around, they made extra point. Giles made a point like, don't kill it. It's a human being. It doesn't know what it's doing. We can possibly treat it and stuff. So
good old Giles.
Yeah.
I honestly don't tell anybody, but I've never seen an episode, but I hear it's very good.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, I've always kind of loved werewolves. They've made a bunch of good werewolf movies, but they're kind of few and far between. You know what I mean? Like there was The Howling back in the day, and then there was Ginger Snaps around the turn of the century, and then
Michael J. Fox came along and
Teen Wolf. Yep. That was a good movie.
I haven't seen it either.
I don't know if it was a good.
I don't know anything about.
I don't know if it was a good werewolf movie, but it was a good movie.
Okay. I must check it out.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Well, it came out 30 years ago, didn't it?
Yeah. I don't think I've seen it since. Or the cartoon. They made a cartoon out of it too.
Did they really?
Yeah, they did. It was a Saturday morning cartoon.
There's so much I don't know.
See, you could have put that in the song.
Could have put that in the song.
At least you get a cartoon.
Yeah. We've come up with a couple werewolf jokes, but they're all stupid. My favorite is what do you call a teenage werewolf who goes to medical school?
What?
Doogie Schnauzer.
All right. See, when has a terrible joke ever stopped you before from putting it in your song?
Are you kidding me? I'd look for him.
Right.
That's what we need.
Cool. So tell us about this Kvetchmas show you're working on.
Well,
or panicking about whichever.
Yeah. Last year, in the middle of a pandemic, we decided, hey, what better time than to work on a new album of Christmas and Hanukkah songs? And a lot of these are songs that either he or I were already doing. We just put them together into one thing that we are promoting as a duo. And the name A Kvetchmas Carol just came out because, hey, let's put a name in this thing that isn't actually, put a word in the name that isn't actually a word, so it won't appear in any search engines. Because we're geniuses. And so it's a nice little CD. I think it's got a dozen songs. Some of them are from my 2 Jew review days. Some of them are poems that Brad does in his show, and particularly when he does shows for kids. One of them is a lullaby that he used to sing to his daughter, so she would go to sleep so he could finish wrapping the damn presents. And it's all just lovely. And there's not a dark moment. Well, no, there's a few dark. There's a pretty, it's actually, you'll just have to see. It's got some bad language that Brad winds up bleeping himself. I'm the bad influence in this thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys work well together then.
Yeah. Yeah. One of us is always smacking the other one. Like, what's wrong with you? And yeah. Like you and Shoebox. It's just like,
get the Abbott and Costello vibes going. That's what you need.
That's right.
We haven't had a good Abbott and Costello in a long time.
No, we have not since the one.
Yeah. I honestly felt that I'm blanking on their names now. Chris Farley and David Spade were going to be the next like good comedy duo team. They put out a couple of great movies and then he died. Then that was that.
Yeah, dying tends to kill everything.
Yeah, it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really thought they were going to be like the next big comedy duo because there aren't comedy duos anymore. It's not a thing anymore.
There are a couple. There's a couple of stand-up comedy duos, but honestly, I think stand-up should really just be one person.
Yes, it doesn't really work with stand-up. It needs to be like movies or sketches or something.
Stand-up needs to feel like it's coming off the top of your head. And if 2 people are smoothly saying a sketch, it's not the top of your head. It's a sketch.
Yeah.
Unless it's improv, which is fine. But then that's not stand-up. That's improv. So why are we worrying about this?
I don't know.
There's nothing else to worry about.
So do you have anything you'd like to plug?
SteveGoodie.com. SteveGoodie.com. And the Bluebird Cafe every Sunday. This Sunday is staff night, so if you can make it to the Bluebird and find your way in, everyone performing all night long will either be a current or former member of the Bluebird staff. Some of whom have gone on to be very, very successful, and some of us are still me.
All right, sounds good. And where can people catch the Kvetchmas Carol?
You can find it at stevegoodie.com.
All right. I can't even say it.
Just
I'm not.
remember my name.
Yeah.
It's there.
Okay. That's all you need. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And we'll catch you next time.
All righty.
Later.
Bye.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a job.
Yeah. All right. We actually can't tease anything because tomorrow's song is by a new artist. Although it's an artist that is familiar with this community because this artist has posted several songs to the sideshow over the years. And Tuesday song is not yet posted, and I still haven't put in Ian's thing. Sorry, dude. You want to sing it? Sing it. Sing it.
Nope.
All right. Next week's Spotify playlist topic is cats. Kitties. All right. So, Ian, plug yourself one more time.
InsaneIan.bandcamp.com and YouTube.com/InsaneIan. Also, if you want to get stuff early, like my videos and my music and the other videos that I do and all sorts of other cool stuff, you can go to patreon.com/InsaneIan and give me money.
All right, Phil, plug yourself one more time.
Yeah, PhilJohnsonComedy.com, and I think I might start a YouTube series of me reacting to Ian's reaction videos. I think that would be fun.
I would love it. Reactionception. Let's get it going.
And I'll react,
and then I'll react, and then you react, and I'll react, and we'll do it live. It'll be a live show.
It's the snake eating its own comedy tail.
So, yeah, PhilJohnsonComedy.com. That is the place for everything.
All right. Let's get out of here. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice.
I'm Luke Ski.
And there's other people.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Look at my
listening to
hand
the
appear
Funny
and
Music
disappear.
Podcast.
Whee!
You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, shout it to random people on the street, and be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say,
I sweat the pants that make the whole world sing. I sweat the pants of love and special things. I sweat the pants that make Insane Ian cry. I sweat the pants, I sweat the pants.